Idly ho, right, we are live. Hey everybody, I'm Rob the Builder. Can we build it? Yes, we can. How you doing? Go for it. Now, I believe your actual name is Daniel. Correct me if I'm wrong. Um, at which point, hi Daniel. Um, um, now this morning, I'm going to be a little crisp with the time in terms of probably not too much more than an hour. This morning, just because I've got things to do, places to be, people to see. But we'll be working on the Corsair. There's a few things we can do about making sure we get stuck into getting the fuselage together. Part of that involves getting the cockpit together. But there's also some stuff I need to paint. This we will do. David, how are you doing? Say hello to her ladyship as well. Now, the next, well, that's pretty much the outline of today. As a quick little aside, if you hear a continual ping, that's my phone. A guy I used to go to uni with and haven't seen for 10 years has gotten back in contact, and I've to a point I almost wish I hadn't answered. I don't want to sound nasty, but now he's not fucking shutting up. Just contact me on Messenger, I think it is. Either way, one message. You don't have to send 20. And also, take a chill pill. The trials and tribulations of being a bald man. Anyway, cheering begeering. Oh, fuck yeah. I gotta say, this is completely irrelevant to modeling, but see this mug? This was actually my mother's. She didn't use it much. She used I think it might have been, no, she didn't even use it for coffee, but she used to be a tea drinker anyway. But yeah, I gotta say, this is a meaningful coffee cup. Good size. This is what you want. None of this, you want it. Boom. I can get 2 decent sized shots of coffee going on in there, and that's the way it should happen, I tells you. Now, something I want to do before we progress, good people. First, I wouldn't mind getting some of this out of the way. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to. Something I'm a little concerned about. I can't seem to find the chair of all things. I've got this one here that I made. But then the frame is fucked. So I'm a bit. I do know where I can get a backup. That's not an issue. That's a very simple equation, in fact. But let's have a look here. Okay. Here's a line of thought. First up. Right. Let me have a look at something. What I'm thinking is it may be worthwhile, but I then need to get the chair in. And of course then there's the photo etch on there, but that's another matter. I'm just having a look at the assembly sheets and working shit out. Okay, there's a couple of bits we can do pretty quickly and pretty easily, I would think. And in fact, we shall. So, then I'm going to see about addressing this chair issue. And then I wouldn't mind getting away from the photo etch for just a little while, because I've been focusing very heavily on that, and it actually does get a bit mind-fucking after a while. Now, give me a moment. Spool cutters are what we seek. Now, these first ones are not going to be too delicate. They're going to be pretty straightforward, but they need to be done, obviously, before we move a few other things into position here. Now, I went to the, I'm not quite sure what the correct term is. Basically, the dudes who do your scan you for skin cancers and freeze them off. That's the bottom line. That's what they do. Went there yesterday and had this photo imaging shit done, which was great, and had a few things frozen off, which I'm glad for, because you don't want them developing. But the thing I discovered, much to my horror, was just how fat I'd become when I saw the photo imaging. I was horrified. And yeah, I've made executive decisions based on the horror that I have seen. I'm getting my weight down. I'm not just thinking about it, I'm doing it. I was horrified. I'm so vain. But it's also a health thing, let's face it. So anyway, yeah, I had no idea. It's one of those things, until you see it, you don't really latch onto it. You know what I'm saying? Now, A20 goes in. Being correctamundo. There's another part I want to have a quick gander at. Goosey goosey gander. Yeah, I did that. Now, next, this. How does this go in? Now, quick file. Yeah, still there. There we go. Now, how does this go in? Let's have a good look. I think I see where it goes. So it goes that way. Well, it was supposed to be there, never mind. And it goes there. By the looks. No, not there. There. One thing I will say for Tamiya, well, there's lots of things I'd say for them, but scope this out. This is good. Something I'm. There's nice, clear detail on the assembly instructions, and in fact, you can see here how they've even illustrated how the part goes in. That way you can't make mistakes, and I think that is fucking marvelous. Just saying. Now, where were we? This way round. and it goes into there, I would say. Yeah, it fits. Yeah, pretty well. Alright. So just put a bit of glue on that and split your splatching. Maybe hold for a little while. But I don't know if you saw then, but I'll show you. Let's see if I can get it. If I put it flat, let's see how well we can just. Quite. These tweezers are under my hand a bit. That's the sprue cutters. So that'll go almost straight away though. If I go like this, I wonder what these actually are. There we go, that's where they go. Look, you can even see that quite nicely. Right, so there we have it, even without glue. That's, oh, hey Bassman, how you doing? Say hello to Basswoman. I'll just zoom around. So even without glue there, you can see that that will sit in. So that's a pretty good start to proceedings in my eyes. Now give me a moment. Bing, bam, und bam, und done. I'll glue that part in a minute. Aha. Boom. How you doing?
Hello, sir. How are y'all doing?
Good. My face looks a bit like I've been dragged through a barbed wire fence because I went to the skin cancer place yesterday.
Oh,
Oh no, it's just a thing that I don't know what it's like in the US, but over here, once you get to a certain point of life, it's pretty common for there to be the starts of cancers on most people. Particularly if just because of the way the sun is.
yeah.
The sun here is pretty brutal, as you have no doubt heard. The reputation.
Don't really hear a whole lot of it around here.
Well, at the end of the day, yeah, what the Australian sun will do to you is, or can do to you, is little short of savage. From all the way down to there's some tourists didn't hydrate properly up north one time or a few times and actually experienced what is called muscle meltdown.
Muscle meltdown.
Yeah, where the muscles do not have enough water in them to support them and actually start to disintegrate.
Really?
Yeah, mate. My personal ugliest experience with this shit, as far as the Australian sun, was when I was about, I don't know how young I was. I was young. And got caught with out in the sun and falling asleep. I had a blistered back. And mate.
Oh yeah, no, that can happen here if you're at the coast, but that'd be about the only place it could really happen.
Well, I was on a beach at the time, so
Okay.
But yeah, and it can heat footpaths sufficiently that, whoops, a daisy, we'll just leave that there. Got that on, so we'll just let that settle a bit. Hang on, that's not quite correct. But yeah, it's also can heat up pavements. This is obviously on hot days, not just every day. Sufficiently that you can put a frying pan on the ground and fry eggs.
Yeah, it's been like that around here, like in Los Angeles and Oregon before.
Yeah.
Where it was so bad.
Oh, up north's far nastier. This is just here. Up north it gets nastier again. They get some real nasty shit.
Yeah.
That's it's I would be unsurprised. I know that there are certainly parts of the US this occurs as well. If this year they see certainly at Port Augusta way, which is not that far, I'd be expecting to see 50 degrees this summer. And I know you get that in places, I think it's Death Valley.
Yes.
That where basically they've actually got a whole roster thing going to make sure you do not stay out if you work up there outside for too long, otherwise it's just going to fuck you over.
Yep, that is true.
And you got to say that's some pretty full-on shit.
And it's just getting worse every year, you know.
Yeah, but there's no climate change. That's just a myth.
Well,
I mean, here's the curious part, right? In theory, note you said that wonderful word. The Earth is actually coming out of an ice age. These are facts.
yes.
By the mere existence of there being ice floes, we are technically in what is defined in geological terms an ice age. So yes, there would be a degree of warming that would be naturally occurring.
Yep.
However, you can't be pumping pollutants into an environment for hundreds of years and thinking nothing's going to happen.
Right?
It's going to have some effect, and it's not going to be a good one. It's like putting, it's like smoking all your life and thinking, that ain't affecting me. Now, here's the bad news. Now, I'm just looking at something here, and I'm wondering whether that's actually a photo etch part I would be going in there rather than the part from Tamiya, if you see what I'm saying. That is something that might be worth checking on. But yeah, it's a curious... hello? Hello? No. No. That's the nuts and bolts on that subject? No. There is not a part that goes in there. So, that being the case, I'm also wondering about whether it's worth, now that I'm getting down to sort of really delicate ones on this arm here, I'm thinking I'm going to...
Putting together a while ago, that looked really nice.
Yeah, what I'm thinking is there's still a couple of little handles, but it might be worthwhile putting all that together and then putting the handles in, purely by virtue of, or the idea being that they won't go through the rigors of being put into position, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's just a thought I'm having. It would then require I put them together with all the rest on, which may be a little problematic of its own, of course. That's the other side of the equation, the trials and tribulations of the scale modeler. All the pain of it all.
Yeah, and then put it all together. That'd probably be about the best thing to do.
Yeah. Now, let me just check a few things here. Oh, hang on, course. This is a C part being. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I get the picture. Okay, what I'm dribbling shit about here. That's pretty much as nice as I can dress what my my thing here is that. Oh, that's interesting too. Two different canopies potentially. Anyway, the part that goes here is actually clear, and there's a portion that you paint a color. That's rather neatly done. What? I see. Well, I'm quite happy to roll with that one. To rock and or roll.
How was your day yesterday overall?
Pardon?
How was your day yesterday overall?
Well, overall, yeah, a bit frustrating continually, actually. I mean, I got some stuff done. As far as on business stuff and things like that. I got to my bass lesson. That went well. Learned
That's
something
good.
learned something very useful actually. As far as the okay, I should probably before I start my explanation pose a question. And I think I know the answer, but how much musical theory do you know?
How much what?
Musical theory.
No.
None?
Enlighten
That's
me.
fine. Okay, I'll put it to you in layman's terms. All music is based around set structures. You might have heard of scales. Now, the scales, or there's one major scale, but there are different ways you can play that are called modes.
Okay.
So your major scale, which is the most common of all of them, and what it all revolves around, has a set pattern of 8 notes, and depending on which of those 8 notes you start, so like for example, it's done with letters, as you may or may not know. If I start in C as the major scale, if I start my scale going the same pattern in the next one up would be D, it creates a slightly different sound despite being the same notes.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So
Where you put your fingers at on the string gives you a
yeah,
different
it's the
tone.
same
Right?
pattern, but because I'm starting at the second point, it's a slightly different structure.
Right.
So you'd go from the second to the second, or the second note to the second note, third, and so it goes. Now, where this gets funky is there's an interplay between them being the same notes that then translates to how you actually play blues and jazz. And there's a set structure to blues and jazz that where you play the structures of the chords go from what's called the I'll go on a 1-4-5 pattern. The first note of the scale, the fourth, and the fifth, and use those structures together. And what it was all, yeah, I know this sounds very what, but it's all about how the different structures operate together to create music. And I started to understand that yesterday.
Okay.
Exciting. I was very happy about it because for about 20, the lesson goes for about an hour, and for about 20 minutes, I was utterly bemused and perplexed with a furrowed eyebrow. And then I was saying straight out to my teacher, look, man, I'm not getting this. And then the penny dropped. Oh, mate, it was cool. I was able to improvise and know that I would be in tune for the first time. And that is the thing. Making sure that, being able to move around and stay in tune, but without having to follow the patterns while following the patterns. And it just happened.
Pretty exciting, then, huh?
Oh, yeah, mate.
Pretty exciting.
It's one of the key skills, and it's really hard, but it's one of those ones that if you can nail it, you've gone. Oh wait, here we go. Here we go. This is the line. You've taken the first steps into a wider universe.
That's it.
Yeah, I thought you'd like that.
Yep. Yep.
Right, there we go. Now, all that is, and this ultimately goes on the top of the dash, is that little part there. And that would be the sighting mechanism, I would suggest. And only part of it gets painted, so there you go. Now,
Wow.
Yeah.
There's
Actually,
there's what, 6 strings or 8 strings?
the bass.
Yeah.
Bass usually comes, well, okay, here we go. Your stock standard bass is 4. You can go 5, and I do have a 5 string. And what that does is give you more on the lower range. And the super swish, if you've got the cash, plays 6 string.
So what is like a standard guitar? How many strings does it have?
6.
6. That's probably what I was referring to then.
Yeah, your standard guitar's got 6.
Yeah.
You can go 12.
I think I've seen some with 6 and 8, just a standard guitar.
6 and 12 are generally the two big ones, because 6 is your basically standard guitar. What a 12 string does is it gives you basically exactly the same strings next to each other, but therefore giving a fullest tone because you're actually hitting 2 strings, not 1. They've got a really nice sound to them. An example of 12 string sound, I believe Jimmy Page went 12 string on the acoustic parts of Stairway to Heaven. And I think also you'll find Dave Gilmour used 12 string on Wish You Were Here. So there you have it. Now there's something I was going to do. Because for somehow, that's why I've got this little metal one, but it doesn't have a backing or doesn't have a frame to sit on. And I seem to have misplaced the other one somehow. This is not a problem. I have many spare seats that have, and here's the important part, United States type. All the seats seem slightly different from one country to another. It's interesting. Slightly, they're all ultimately.
Uh-oh. Awesome.
Play.
Oh, you
Yeah, they're all ultimately different types of bucket seats, but there are small nuances in the difference. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the easy card, and rather than scrummage around on the table pointlessly, go straight to where I know there to be one and get that. Pretty simple equation. Back in a moment. Wo ist alles? Boom, here we go. Now, it does have a few things that need to be tidied up on it from the viewpoint of it's not quite correct as a seat. It's slightly different to the one that actually. Oh. All right. I started explaining what I was doing, but and then realised I didn't have the microphone on. Here we go. Here's our seat. But it's not quite correct in terms of the type of seat. It's got a slight variance to it that our one wouldn't have. So we'll address that quite easily. And I'll show you what the difference is, in fact. That I can do.
I was like, can you alter it?
Pardon? Oh, yeah, that's easy. Yeah, that's easy. You'll see this one doesn't have a headrest, where this one does.
Oh.
That's the inherent difference. Now, a couple of things I need to do to change this up to make it look correct. It won't be hard. It'll be a pretty straightforward operation. At least I think so. What I think, and with the part agrees. That's she's going to just nudge in there. There we go. That's quite another story altogether.
Stories. I like stories.
Yeah. There was a young lady who had the name Tori, who on one occasion exhibited supreme stupidity. And the line that went around was Tori, Tori, tell us your story. Long and the short of it, and seen in the right light, this is kind of comical because it's almost movie-esque. One of the local bike clubs is the Gypsy Jokers. And I don't know if they still do, but once upon a time they used to hold what was called the Skin and Steel Fest. Basically, it was their big show. Lots of bikes, lots of tattoos. You get the idea.
Oh, yeah.
And anyway, at one stage, fairly early on, she went there with some friends, as you do. And at one stage, she's been approached by somebody from Picture Magazine, I think it is, which was one of, I believe it falls in roughly in the same breath as what in the US would be the National Enquirer.
Oh yeah, National Enquirer. That was a book.
Where any factual proof of anything, don't worry about that. It's just the sheer content is hilarious. And also, typically, there's a few shots of young ladies in various states of undress. Anyway, she was approached by somebody from Picture Magazine offering $500 for a photo shoot. She apparently went off her trolley at him. What do you think I am? Some kind of slut? Rah, 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 all that sort of cape. Anyway, afternoon progresses. Tori gets off her chops, as you do. And anyway, so she decides to take part in the wet t-shirt competition.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. And then, which she wins partly through showing off her whole box and dice, as it were. At which point, the same dudes who come after her $500 have come up and gone, click free of charge. And you got to say, you dumb girl. So much of this shows sheer stupidity. I bumped into her years later. What was she doing as a job? Stripper.
Of course.
And yeah, like I said, Tori, tell us your story.
Damn it, man.
Yeah, sometimes true stories are better than the fake ones.
Oh, absolutely.
And for my money, that's a bit of a corker.
Yeah.
Now, what the hell is this? Anyway, now what am I looking for? That's not the thing I'm looking for. Ah, there's something I was going to share with you. I saw these things on YouTube. Basically, interesting bits of trivia about the production of the Star Wars movies.
The production
Like,
of Star Wars.
And one of the things I found very interesting was when they were shooting one of the movies, I think it was possibly Return of the Jedi, to put, because they were shooting in one of the US deserts, but they knew that potentially, of course, there'd be lots of fans trying to get in and have a squiz and all the rest of it.
Right.
They tried to set up create the concept that they were actually there to shoot a sci-fi horror movie, and right the way down to having T-shirts made to create the effect and stuff. Now, the thing that was interesting was the horror movie was to be called that, or inverted commas, horror movie was called Blue Harvest.
Blue Harvest. That sounds familiar.
If it sounds familiar, because that's what the opening Star Wars movie or Star Wars parody movie is called in Family Guy.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. So clearly he's onto that piece of trivia. And yeah, I just thought that was very interesting.
Well, there's actually still structure standing from one of the seen from Tatooine because it was in
Yeah.
a desert. And I'm trying to remember where it's at that they still got structure that you can actually go to and see that George Lucas had built for that movie.
Yeah,
Hey, look at
right. I know that part of it was that you can actually go and is now a hotel because some of it's in Tunisia, and it's actually now a hotel, and that's their big selling point, obviously.
right.
Is yeah, you can stay in the Skywalker residence. I believe it costs a fair few bucks.
Is that
Yeah, so
right?
well,
I've not
yeah,
never heard. I've never heard about that.
it's the one in Tunisia because you know how they did a bit of fair bit of shooting over there as well. Where the actual Skywalker, um, I guess ranch is the correct term, isn't it?
Uh,
Um, I've now got this covered with Surfacer, so yeah, we're on the way with that chair. Um, yeah, the Skywalker Ranch, I believe. The actual homestead, as it were, was they built it on a actual existing structure that was put together by trying to think what the local population Berbers, I think it is. But ultimately, where it is now, or where they shot it, you can actually go and stay as a hotel. And you got to be saying, and why wouldn't you? As far as set it up as a hotel if you owned it.
so yeah, it was used for the dwelling of the interior of Luke Skywalker's childhood home, the
Yeah,
Lars Homestead in A New Hope, and Attack of the Clones.
yeah, yeah. And it's yeah, it's a thing. But like I
It is a
said,
thing.
if you owned it, why wouldn't you do that? After all, you've got a ready-made market,
Absolutely.
and you know people are going to pay for that regardless.
Yeah. That's
That's not
like
a
I think
market.
in Japan they got the Godzilla Hotel.
The Godzilla Hotel.
Yeah,
What's that?
Godzilla. Godzilla
I
movies,
know
correct?
Godzilla. I know
Yeah.
Godzilla.
So yeah, they got in Japan. They got a hotel that you can go stay in. That's got like a life size, almost a life size Godzilla head.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The here's a bit of Godzilla humor for you. Um, over here years ago, there used to be a comedy show, and they used to do this. In fact, you'll get the humor of this pretty easily, I think. Called and there was a I can't remember what the show was called. But they used to have this thing called the Australian Fast Bowler. Now, once upon a time, Australia had fast bowlers. They were, in fact, even now, they had fast ball. Remember that clip I sent you about Michael Holding?
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
Right. The West Indies learnt their tricks from the Australians. Um, because the Australians had these savage fast bowlers, Dennis Lilly and Jeff Thompson, and they were just
Oh my God. That man is all over him.
nasty. And anyway, point being that the oh, just realised something I'm looking for. I think is over on the. Yeah, I'll quickly finish it. What was the point? What was it? What was I talking about before I mentioned fast bowlers? Oh, that's a Godzilla.
Godzilla. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and anyway, and the sketch would be something would be going wrong, and suddenly the Australian fast bowler would appear and fix the problem. Um, now, if you hang on a moment, I'll finish this tale short in a minute. I'm just going to get what I need from over the other side of the room.
All
Give
right.
me a moment.
We got a hotel in Japan. They got the hotel. If you don't mind, please. Well, please.
I'm back. Anyway, yeah, so the Australian fast bowler, and an example of how the Australian fast bowler would fix problems was like an example, there's this barbecue thing going on, and a guy starts choking on his food, and no one knows how to perform the Heimlich position. And suddenly out of nowhere appears the Australian fast bowler. Look, it's the Australian fast bowler. G'day. Who runs up, bowls this brutal bouncer and savagely hits the guy in the body, but of course dislodges the food. Thanks, Australian fast bowler. Now we get to the relevant part about Godzilla. And on one occasion, they've got this scene where Godzilla's going through Tokyo, as he does, and is burning the crap out of it. And as everybody runs in terror, oh, David's got an observation about the film part of the star. Part of the indoor scenes they filmed not far from David's place. The Forest Moon stuff. Anyway.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, yes, getting back to the Godzilla point. So what happens is Godzilla's laying waste, and then suddenly somebody stops and goes, "Look, it's the Australian fast bowler." And there's a Godzilla-sized Dennis Lilly figure menacingly tossing a cricket ball, going, "Konnichiwa." And he does his run up again. Brutal bouncer. Drops Godzilla hard. And as he struts off to the horizon, yeah, the population, "Thanks, Australian fast bowler."
Damn it. Man, that video you sent me, oh my God, how are they supposed to hit it or block it?
In situations like that, you just get you do what you can to survive. Yeah, it's pretty savage. These days they do wear proper helmets, but that doesn't. A guy named, quite a big name player, a guy named Phil Hughes, actually got killed. It's not that uncommon, in as much as it does happen, because, of course, if you've got a ball traveling at that speed, if it gets under the helmet line at the right angle, it may as well not be there, and see you later. And that happened to this guy. You got to feel sorry. Yeah, you got to feel sorry for the bowler. You do. The aim of a fast bowler is to intimidate. That's just how it is. That's the aim of the game. They are enforcers.
Yeah, when they showed the bruises on that one man, that was just unreal.
Oh, yeah. And you got to say, just to go through that, you got you one tough motherfucker.
Yeah, he shook it off, man. I mean, he went, he went right back in there.
You could see he was in pain, but not backing off.
No, he didn't back off. Nope.
Yeah, brave man. And the thing about him also, when he's been hit in the groin with one of the fast balls,
wow.
And yeah, he's casually there with the cigarette. Oh dear Lord! I don't know if I'd be so casual if I was having a piece of plastic removed from my genitals. God damn!
Damn it, man! Wow.
But hey, yeah, actually the original Terra bowler was a guy goes back to 1930s, and the English to try and do or get past would address the issue they had with an Australian batsman named Don Bradman, who's widely regarded as the best of all time, was to basically attack the batsman. And they used a guy named Harold Larwood, who was very fast and very accurate, and it worked. At the time, it was considered most ungentlemanly.
I reckon so.
But Lillian Thompson took it to a whole new level. I should send you a video about that. It's wow, ow, ow. Did I say ow? Ow.
Wow.
Oh yeah, mate. It's
I bet you reckon that damn ball's traveling.
they are, yeah. There was during the 1974-75 Test series against England, because they used to be able to put it used to be quite the dumb thing to make a banner and put it over the fence line at the cricket. They don't let you do it now because of the advertising. But they one guy put out one. Was, and again, this is Lillian Thompson at their peak, and the English just absolutely. The batsmen were quite clearly frightened. That's without exaggeration. But the big line that on the banner was "Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. If Lily don't get you, Tomo's a must." Yeah, fast bowlers can be very frightening dudes.
So how fast are those balls traveling? Has anybody ever
Close to
checked?
100 miles an hour.
Wow.
Yeah. They're as fast as a baseball pitcher, but they have a whole lot less care factor, which is a bit of a statement.
Yeah.
There's you'll see sometimes that I remember one guy.
Well, hell, a baseball running that fast, 92 or 105 mile an hour, you can see that, but them damn cricket balls, you can't see them.
Part of it's because the ball moves in the air and off the pitch. It doesn't stay in the one line.
Okay, well, yeah, that makes sense.
And but yeah, there's I remember seeing one guy who played for South Africa, and he may as an all-round player, it's hard to go past the guy because he could both bowl and bat really well, which is top notch. A guy named Jacques Callis, and I remember seeing him bowl a bouncer to somebody, nail him in the rib cage, and the guy's dropped to the ground, as you might. Response: get up. You think, fucking hell. No concern for the well-being. No. Get up. Although there is a story of Jeff Thompson, who I've mentioned to you earlier, dropping a guy in one game and striding up to him while he's still on the ground and saying, "Get up, you bastard, I haven't finished with you yet."
Shit. Yeah,
you think, Jesus, man. Show some manners. But yeah, although to be fair, it may be one of those heat of the moments things. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
At which point I do sort of get it. I remember once being chatted quite significantly on the rugby field for a similar sort of indiscretion, it must be said, in terms of I'd conceded a penalty, and in the process, because I was what's defined as offside, and was it the entry of the ruck? I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. But in the process of doing it, I'd injured one of the opposition players. Now, there was no clear intent. I certainly didn't intend to injure him, but he did. He was injured, had to leave the field. And it is worth noting the game had been getting pretty spiteful anyway. And some nastiness was going on. So that probably didn't help my cause. I don't know what inspired me, but I've chirped out with "Hasta la vista, baby." It did not go down well with either the crowd or the referee. I can't say I entirely blame the ref for dragging me over and saying, "Right, you pull your head in and rah rah." Oh, yes, ref. Oh, sorry, sir. Yeah, it didn't go down well. But
well, I guess you could say shit happened, right?
Well, like I said, all I'm putting it down to is it was a spiteful game, and at that stage, yeah, that's all I'm putting it down to. Was things were getting nasty, and I certainly wasn't going to be taking any shit from anyone, and I must have just been in a bit of a grump. What can I say?
Just a bit of a grump.
Yeah. Now, what I've done here is, yeah, you can see I've got the undercarriage color on that at the moment. Now, I'm pretty confident.
That sea blue?
Yeah. Well, it's what they call air superiority blue. Now, the only issue I have with such a curious name is that if there is an air superiority blue, by any logic, surely there is an air inferiority blue. But is there? No. What goes on? That's what I ask. Okay. Clean brush. Now I'm pretty confident I can get a lot of the colors onto that, as in the other colors, pretty easily. This I will now do. Now, but yeah.
Well, the mornings here are crisp and cool, but the days are still warm and muggy.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's been a bit tropical here of late. Had a few quite sticky, like the night was quite sticky enough to need the door left open, but it was still raining, sort of a caper.
And y'all get all that rain you're talking about?
Pardon?
Did you get all that rain y'all were talking about?
Oh, yeah. I won't be needing to water the garden for a bit. I might give it a quick See, here's the thing. Actually, here's something worth making mention of. Tomorrow, when I do a stream, it's going to have to be a really short, sharp, and shiny one. We're going to be up at the safari park, at 9:30, I think it is. So I have to leave here pretty early.
Okay.
But there's an excellent chance I will be on Saturday, because the weather is forecast as being 4 shades of shithouse. Not merely just shithouse, 4 shades of shithouse. And
Don't
as
get
such,
much nastier than that, does it?
oh no, it does not, mate. It does not. As such, I'm probably not going to go fishing. That's the nuts and bolts here. And so, yeah, that will mean I may well do a stream. Why? Because it behooves me.
I'll be right here.
And there is one other plus to not going fishing, actually, is on Tuesday I have a house inspection, which is a pain in the ass. But hey, and at the end of the day there, I've got to get some cleaning on. I've got a cleaner coming on Monday anyway, but it doesn't hurt to get things such that they have to do very little. Of course, then it's going to cost me less. I think this one has finally bitten the bullet. Not bitten the bullet. I think it's finally carved it, more to the point. Now, where's my new one? Because I have a new one of these. I know this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
They're coming to get you.
Oh, yeah, my disguise has failed yet again. Yeah, there's I live, I'd say, less than 100 yards from an ambulance station, which is, well, I hear a lot of sirens, but the other side of the equation is it doesn't matter where you live, you're going to hear sirens.
Well, that's kind of funny because we live about 150 yards from a fire department.
Yeah. So anytime there's a fire, you know about it.
Oh, absolutely. 9 times out of 10, they go down our road.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much the deal here. Now, I don't mind so much because after a while, like all of it, you sort of just get used to it.
Yeah.
I remember when I was living in town, it was a curious. In many ways, I think I did myself some damage living in that locale because I lived on the main drag. Because I also worked on the main drag, and the training venue that I was living at was on the main drag. So you can see that there's a whole stack of issues that are potentially arising right there.
Yep.
Anyway, bottom line, while I was at work, I'd, of course, hear sirens. When I was at home, I'd hear sirens, and I'd know how busy the night would be from the number of sirens I'd heard earlier that evening. So, yeah. Actually, one time, here's a funny emergency services story for you. As far as when you're on the door,
Damn it.
if ever, you're always looking to see what's coming your way because, well, you may have to be dealing with that. And if you see cops' cars with lights flashing, you definitely start looking.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm on the door. I see this cop car come around from it's quite a way out, but it's come around one of the street corners. Definitely heading down the road. And I'm looking for where it's going. Can't see anything. Anyway, then another cop car appears from the other side. Like so, if one's come around from the left from the left side of me, this one's coming around from the right. I'm still seeing where are they going? And then as they both start getting closer right in front of me, and I still can't see what's going on, one of them cuts in front of this car on the other side of the road, which then gets rammed by this four-wheel drive from behind, and all these Staff Force are like SWAT teams in the US, jump out and start wailing on this car with their batons. And whilst I can see there's one person in the car utterly terrified, one guy tries to make a run for it, and the rest of them just dive on him. He's going nowhere. And it was right about then I thought, you know, being a cop wouldn't be bad. But yeah, it was something to see in operation. What it turned out to be was out in the suburbs. It was a drug deal gone wrong.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and they'd tried to outrun. Why would you bother? You know, you're not going to succeed in the day with helicopters and shit. Anyway, they've tried to outdrive the coppers, and then for some weird reason, and I've got to say, wow, you're a special kind of stupid, ain't you? This guy's decided to drive into the city and then down a crowded road. Why? Straight out stupidity. You never get any chance you might have had, has gone cleanly out the window with that one. You know?
Yep. Well, if you try to run this in time, you're an idiot to start with because you ain't going to get away.
No, mate. Look, I've got a long-standing policy. If I've done anything that merits the cops' attention, I'm just going to do it the easy way and say, yep, you got me. Because you're not making it any better.
It actually benefits you because I had a state trooper years ago. Passed him in a curve and I was speeding. And I could have got a turn on the side road and got away from him, but I pulled off and waited. Yeah. And he came back around in just a few seconds and stopped. And he appreciated me pulling over. And that's why he didn't give me a ticket.
Yeah, well, I've been let off on occasion because it's just been, you know, okay, just. There was this point in time where, because I know certainly when I was on my way back from work, there were times when I got pulled over, and the cops would be going, "Now look, mate, I can see you on your way back from work, so we'll let you off." Yeah. But yeah, if you do the right thing.
And not to mention, I was on a 80 Pontiac Trans Am. So yeah, I've had several hot rods when I was in my early teens. Had Camaro, Trans Am.
I couldn't actually get a driver's license till I was about 28 because I got epilepsy. And over here, it's got to be 2 years since your last seizure. And whilst I would therefore have been eligible by the age of 21, I'd gotten so used to getting lifts, catching taxis, catching buses, that I didn't see the inconvenience. And then just thought, you know, need to get my driver's license, got it organized. Oh my God, what a revelation. And unsurprisingly, I've never looked back since.
Yeah.
The mere notion of being without a car now, oh dear Lord, are you for real?
I know, right?
Oh yeah, man. So I never really got into the whole car thing when I was young as a result.
Yeah, I had beefed up engines, rear end, chrome rims, jacked up, all that mess.
Jesus. Now the other side of the equation I can consider here is I may have missed out on a lot of fun, but I may have also saved myself a lot of money.
Well, I never got no tickets. I did I have
Oh, I'm
a
just talking about this. You can spend a lot of money on just cars. To my understanding, it's possible to spend quite a huge amount of money just on cars alone. Just on the, in terms of doing them up, maintaining them.
Oh yeah.
I remember I knew a guy who had done up. Did you guys get Toranas over in the US?
Gran Torinos?
No, Toranas, they're called.
No.
Okay. Well, General Motors, we bought one of our local car manufacturers called Holden. Put out a range of cars called Toranas.
Right.
And a friend of mine had one because they were quite a good racing car in their time. And he did it up with all sorts of bells and whistles. And he actually explained to me that by the time he had fully gotten everything worked on it, he'd probably spent about 50 grand on it.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah. Because there was a whole new suspension, whole new engine, paint job. It was a car that he could take on the racetrack sort of caper. So it had all the relevant seat belts and seats and yada, yada, yada. And at the end, and when all was said and done, could he sell it for that much?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. So
You never get out what you got
basically,
in.
it was just a money pit.
Yeah, you never get out what you got in them.
But yeah, he was also someone. Actually, you'd get a bit of humour out of this, I reckon. Who always wanted the best stuff, but didn't necessarily think it through. And what I mean by that was once upon a time, I used to use overhead reels a bit, certainly for some types of fishing. And he wanted to do a bit of fishing. Yeah, no worries, man. And he saw me with these reels, which are really, do you know the Abu 7000?
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Oh, wow.
And anyway, we explained to them that they're really good reels once you know how to cast and da 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 and what the deal is with them. Anyway, next time I catch up with him, he's got two of them. And he's very keen to use both of them. And I'm thinking, and I can see he's been taken for a complete fleecing by the shop salesman who clearly knew what he was doing. And yeah, he had them not really well balanced with the rods he was getting. And you think, dude, why would you go for two and not one? And then maybe a smaller reel for smaller fish. Not everything you want to hook into is going to be the size of a bloody, God knows what. But yeah.
Yeah, I always use the open face reel.
Well, these days I tend to use the good old-fashioned egg beater, purely by virtue of the fact that where me and my mate go, a lot of the time it involves underarm flick casts. Now, if you're going to do that sort of caper, that's not so easily achieved.
I could take a open face spin cast reel and I could put a plastic worm on there and throw it anywhere under trees.
Yeah. Well, with the reels that, or the egg beater, me and my mate, like some of the casts we got to do are like what my mate refers to as hand-to-hand combat. And yeah, totally. You got to get into some very snug little spots. And for ease, when you're going for precision casts, and I'm talking about you want to get, and you'd know the drill, you want to get within bare inches of trees.
Yes.
You want to get really tight. The last thing you want to be worrying about, in my eyes, is am I going to plant my thumb quickly enough on the reel as the line goes out? All I want to worry about is, bam, there it is. Now, okay, I'm going to have to do the boogaloo because I've got a bit going on today. But I've got a really good start on this rear wheel. So all I've got to do on it now is a couple of bits of dark grey for the suspension, the bolts, and the tyre.
Yeah, I like that blue.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Obviously, we've now gotten as well these in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I saw you working on earlier.
And we've just I'll let that dry. I can probably get the seat done tomorrow. But yeah, that's as a fun fact for those who are unaware. Actually, I wonder. No, I don't. But that's that type of seat there. That's a textbook US one. Now your German ones tend to sort of curve, be a bit more curvy at the top, a bit narrower, a bit more buckety.
Huh.
And then the British ones tend not to have these little bits on the side. They'll be a little more straight. Bang. They all ultimately are slightly different. Yeah. You wouldn't have thought so, would you? Now, let's see what you've been working on there, Bassman. I'll give you a bit of solo time. Give you a tick. Boom. There we go.
Well, this 30 delivery van, I got
nice.
Got two-toned and painted. Got the windows in it, back opens and closes. And I've got the seats in it.
Nice. There is a certain class to that sort of vehicle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I like the old 39 Roadsters. They're cool.
It's
but that's all I've got today.
I've got a Merc that I want to do an extension on. Because it's a Merc 540, which has made the. You can see what I'm saying. I look like I've been dragged backwards through a bloody. We've also got some nicks and knocks up here from where they've frozen. They use liquid nitrogen. What?
Like had your ass whooped.
Yeah. It's they use liquid nitrogen to burn them off. So pretty bloody cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying? Yes, there's Mercedes 540L. A dozen were modified for the Nazi high command, and it required an extension and a little bit of jiggery pokery. But I reckon I can pull that off. But anyway, thanks everyone for watching. We appreciate it. First time viewers, hit that follow, like, or subscribe button. Other platforms, I'm Rob the Builder on Facebook and YouTube, and Robster the Builder on Instagram and Twitch. And follow, like, or subscribe. Now, finally tomorrow. Now, if I'm on tomorrow, it's only going to be for a short one because I've got to go to the safari park. I might only be on for 45 minutes, but that's okay. I'll still do that because, I mean, hey,
why not?
I might use the opportunity to finish the Mustang.
There you go.
In 45 minutes and bam, done. That would be a good outcome in my eyes.
Yes, it would.
Oh, our pleasure, David. And at the end of the day, We will be back tomorrow at a similar kit time and the same kit channel. I hope we'll catch you good people then. See yous.